Well, looky. Free agency comes to CHGO. I think you know what I'm talking about. The CHGO Bears Podcast with a new edition starts right now. Hey, it's the slow time of the football season. We feel like we just needed to spice it up, and I think we're doing an outstanding, incredible, over-the-top job of it. Wow.
Not bad start to the football season. We're kicking it off right now. Training camp, 2 weeks away, but we're kicking off the football season right now.
Were you in on these discussions? Did you know this was going on?
I have stayed out of it completely, so as to not screw this up.
No one ever tells me anything. But hey, a lot going on in my personal life that I'm going to get to at the end of the show today. I appreciate the support that I've gotten, but I couldn't miss this. So we want to bring in our newest teammate from the Hoge and Jahns podcast, from The Athletic, from the Sun-Times, Chicago royalty, our friend Adam Jahns. There he is. Welcome, brother. Congratulations.
Thanks, fellas. It's great to be here. I don't know what to say, really. Just pumped to do this. Happy to see you guys.
Yeah, well, I read the article earlier today about your journey, obviously starting out, covering high school sports, hitting the deadlines and moving your way all to this. I mean, obviously your reputation precedes yourself here in Chicago. I know Bears fans are excited for this, and we certainly are too. I mean, Hoge and Jahns, we got to gas you up to start. Hoge and Jahns has been a staple of Bears coverage for a long time. And to be able to sit here next to Hoge for the last few years has been a treat for me as somebody that's taken in the content, and now for you to join the team means a lot to us. And obviously, we're certainly excited and honored to have you.
And I personally,
you're way too nice, man.
Yeah.
Well,
for now.
For now, don't worry.
I'll yell at you eventually.
I got you covered, Carm. I got him.
It'll kick in.
If you would have told me that I'd be working with the guy who was at training camp, who was taking like these outstanding videos of practice to the point where the Bears were literally trying to track him down in the stands to find him. I would have called you crazy, but it's funny how this media world works. I'm happy to be here, Greg. This is going to be fun, man.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back in time. I first learned of Adam Jahns when you were writing for the Sun-Times, and then I think it was like 2018 when I was working with Hoge at WGN Radio, which then started the game. And then he was just pitching like, hey, can we host this Hoge and Jahns show? And you guys had started the podcast. And then the great Todd Manley was like, Carm, why don't you moderate that? And I'm like, I don't think those guys need me to do that. But they forced me on you, and which was obviously a privilege of mine to do it. But I want to go back before that. When, just how did you get into the Sun-Times, and then when did the Hoge connection start?
Well, my Hoge story, the first time I ever heard of Adam Hoge, he reached out to me when he was a producer at The Score. And I shared this in my column. Check it out on allchgo.com. See how I did that? I'm a natural. That's how it works.
There it is.
So he reaches out to me. I'm covering the Hawks. We're in Dallas. And I get this text message from, it's a new number, producer introducing himself, Adam Hoge from The Score. He wants me to come on their morning show at 5 a.m. I'm like, no way. And I was nice. I was polite. But he's pushy. Adam Hoge is pushy. He goes, you could, get up, do the hit, 15, 20 minutes, and go back to bed. You'll still make your flight and all that stuff. I'm like, no way, man. I'm not doing that. So that's the start. That's the literal start of our relationship. Me telling him, no, I'm not doing a 5 a.m. hit on the morning show on The Score because I want to sleep in when the Hawks are, having their great runs. Was it 2010, 2011? So around that time. But, guys, we used to do intentional grounding. That's the original name of Hoge and Jahns. It was called intentional grounding, and we would do it in his. We would record it in his basement over here in Park Ridge, which is close to me. And he used to have this rundown of things. We used to do all these different segments, but that's really how it started. We got to know each other, covering the Bears at Bourbonnais, having fun, having beers, and then we started recording this podcast. That's really the start.
Yep. It's exciting. It's going to be a fun year of coverage, and we have a lot of different voices here at CHGO Bears, and that's what it's all about. For everybody that takes in Bears content, we try to fill the need for each of you. And Jahns, you're obviously going to fill, a big side of this. Obviously, your writing side of this is just a huge thing for Bears fans, and everything you've brought to the table there. So excited to, bring in more of that content and read it and take that in.
Greg doesn't actually read those, Adam, so I think he's just happy to be able to send along things to
I'll
read.
send them to you.
Yeah, no.
I can't read. I don't know how to read.
You're a
I'll
budding.
text you what you need to know. I got you covered, Greg.
You're a budding, just solid, sit in front of the computer, just digest it all.
That's right.
All right, so let's get one football question in here on whatever the day is today. Do you what gives Adam Jahns optimism as you join CHGO? This is going to be a Bears season to remember. Let's get some of those thoughts on the record here.
It's got to start and end with Ben Johnson and in his pairing with Caleb Williams, right? That's everything. I've covered Mark Trestman and Jay Cutler. That worked for a little bit. I covered Matt Nagy and Mitch Trubisky. That worked for a little bit. 2018 was a great season for the Chicago Bears. You hope Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, that they have staying power, that they have more than this honeymoon period where things look good for a year. Because Mark Trestman and Jay Cutler had that. Second year, not so good. So everything to me in terms of coverage and what we're going to do here at All CHGO, it's got to always revolve around Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. And will this finally work for the Chicago Bears?
Is there something you'll be looking for early in training camp, or do the games really have to start to fully? Not obviously fully is the answer to that, yes. But is there something you're sort of like, I am looking for this early in or late in July, early in August?
Well, when it comes to Caleb Williams, it's just his interactions with Ben Johnson, how they're getting along, how much Ben Johnson is yelling at him, because we got to see that in the offseason program. So if he continues to stay on his case, which I think he will throughout the regular season, I think that's a good thing. Caleb Williams needs to be coached tough to take that next step, and I think this will be healthy for Caleb Williams. So you're watching those interactions. Other than that, there's a left tackle job up for grabs, waiting to see how things shake out in the Bears secondary, up front on the defensive line. So there's certain position battles you're always watching, but that quarterback relationship between head coach and Caleb Williams, again, guys, it's everything.
Well, and as Ben Johnson said, there's going to be 52 other guys on this team. And so when you talk about Ben Johnson and his coaching staff, I'm definitely excited to see the rest of this coaching staff go to work. Antoine Randall, Eric Bieniemy, you got this new fresh face, Declan Doyle. Who is he? How does he coach out there as an offensive coordinator? So I'm just curious, from what you've seen so far at OTAs and minicamp, I know everybody keeps sharing the Eric Bieniemy clips every time because he's just yelling and screaming and hollering, but I'm just curious about the rest of that room and how that's looked to you so far.
I think, Greg, you have a really – is it Greg or Braggs? What do you prefer? I got to get used
Braggs.
to it.
It's Braggs.
Braggs.
Meatball, moron, all those things.
Greg is too official? Okay.
Yeah.
This is such a unique staff. Ben Johnson purposely went out of his comfort zone to find coaches who I think will challenge him. You got experience in Eric Bieniemy. You have a lot of experience in Dennis Allen, a former head coach in two different spots. He can bring so much just in terms of such a great resource, such a great sounding board for Ben Johnson just in terms of everything. He's been through this. And then you have former players who are in key spots. Assistant head coach, secondary coach. I don't think that's talked about enough, to be honest with you. And I got a story. Here's a tease. And Antoine Randall coming up for allchgo.com in a week or two. Be sure to read that. So I just think this unique collection of coaches, just in terms of experience, youth, different ideas, playing experience. This is a bit different than what I've covered from before in the past, where you have guys bring in, like Matt Eberflus brought his entire defensive staff with them from Indianapolis. So this is a bit different for me. And I hope all these differences are good for the Bears.
I just heard 12-5 through that answer there. That's what that's what it felt like.
Well, when you talked earlier about that left tackle competition, obviously your big brother, Ozzy Trapilo, I know everybody kept saying, when they did the press release that we hired Ozzy Trapilo, but, I'm very excited at least. I say I'm high on him, but I haven't even seen him in pads or in a Bears jersey in person yet. But, from your big brother, am I on the right track of thinking he's the front runner for the left tackle spot?
Absolutely. And now this may sound unfair to Braxton Jones, but we have not seen him on the field playing in Ben Johnson's offense quite yet. He's still coming back from his ankle surgery. So I would think him being the incumbent, the starter for multiple years, that he'll make a run at this. But Ozzy Trapilo is the one who was drafted by Ben Johnson. He's the one drafted by Ryan Poles with Ben Johnson's input. So he may have some inexperience. There'll be some rough moments for him for sure. He's a rookie. But that fact that he was drafted by Ben Johnson's staff is significant. You can't overlook it. This is the NFL. This is how it works. So Braxton Jones has been a solid starter. I think he'll come in healthy, when he's healthy, and push Trapilo, or Giant Jahns, as I like to call him, Giant Jahns. But, on the field, Ozzy Trapilo looks like Kyle Long. And it's not just his number, but physically, he's built like Kyle Long. He moves like Kyle Long. We know how good Kyle Long was here, albeit in a different position for the Chicago Bears.
Right.
If Ozzy Trapilo is Kyle Long, the Bears are going to have a great season. I'll go that far, because that would mean at bare minimum you're going to be able to run the football. And if you can do that with a defense that should be coming up, you would hope, with a healthy Montez Sweat, that's a formula for at least a 500 season. And then if Caleb does literally anything, you're going up from there. And if he's great, then I don't know. That would be a huge development if that ends up happening.
Well, and just as a heads up, so everybody that's tuned in and understands, because I know John just said he's going to have an article coming out here very soon. You can get that with a discounted deal to become a diehard right now, $36 for the year, and you can get a Hoge and Jahns shirt included with that. Or if you want to go a little higher, $59 for 1 year includes a limited edition Hoge and Jahns hat from Branded Bills. Looks solid, looks great.
Wow.
I'm definitely going to be getting my hands on that. But two different options for you to become a diehard. All CHGO.com/diehard. Get your stuff right now for exclusive written content. Hoge and Jahns are going to be bringing the thunder along with everybody else here at CHGO Bears.
Love it. And the first show is coming July 21. Is that correct?
Yes, the day before players. Well, actually, some of the rookies report before that, but the day before the kickoff press conference where everybody talks.
Who is the boss in your meetings? Is it Hoge or is it you?
Good question. It has been me. We work together quite well. Katie Langan, our producer.
Okay.
She's the boss.
Okay. Because, here everyone says that Hoge is my daddy, and he is. So, it's been a very I occasionally have to assert my incredible calmness, but in general, that's dad. And I think it'd be good for I like you as dad to Hoge. That's basically what I'm asking for here, if that's okay. I know that would, you guys have probably figured this out already, but that's my preference.
Well, somebody has to keep him in check. The guy is just everywhere. The accountability.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to keep him in check.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
And with the gentle touch, keeping in check, because I keep everyone in check with the iron fist and the hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah. Johnsy, you're going to learn that working with Greg Braggs in whatever way you work with them is a unique experience that is not duplicated anywhere else on this planet.
You're gonna love it.
Sometimes it's the greatest, and then the other times, you're looking for the tallest building. But
I love it. He shows up to the annual GM news conference in Indianapolis in a suit. He looks darn good, and then there's me rolling out of bed with a coffee in hand with my pullover. I might put some stuff in my hair to try to make myself look good, but he is ready to go, fully suited up, getting questions there, I'm there for it, Greg. I'm calling you Greg. Rex,
Thank you.
I'll get used to it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You're right. And, I'll give it 10 years at the Combine before I show at a Starbucks and get in a wrestling match with someone.
You need to wear a suit to finally catch up to the professionals that have been doing
Oh,
it year after year after year. I started in this in 98. Thank you very much. I am the senior statesman. I believe we have
Your daddy.
my daddy is calling in, apparently listening from his boat or wherever he is right now. He looks very relaxed and very Hoge-esque. In the middle
I
of
was
his
excited for him to come on until I see this jersey he's wearing.
I can't even tell what
It's a
jersey.
Brewers jersey.
Oh, it's just a sweet look. Is that Adam Hoge in his Shady Rays in his Brewers jersey with his partner in check? This has got to be the greatest day in Hoge history right now. Look at this guy.
So, couple things here, guys. One, what's going on? Like, what happened? Did I miss something? I mean, I'm just trying to enjoy my vacation here.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm wearing this, Greg, is because A, I didn't know I was coming on the show. B, I didn't want to go full brags. My other option was just to be completely shirtless, and
Yeah.
I didn't think that was appropriate. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to live with the Giannis Brewers basketball jersey. That was a great giveaway at Miller Park last year.
Yeah.
That's
Well, they're on our heels, so I'm
Actually,
stressed
well,
out.
thank you
But
for wearing something.
yeah, well, they're on our heels, so I'm stressed out. So that's why I'm giving you crap. But obviously, Hoge, we've been talking with Jahns here a little bit. We're excited for you to come back from vacation here next week. But this is something that I know you said, Hoge. It's certainly come full circle. You guys have worked in separate outlets for a long time, but still been able to do this podcast for all of us as Bears fans. And I know how much we've appreciated and valued you guys' coverage, but now you guys are working. Now you're bringing it all together, working under the same umbrella.
Yeah, and my first Jahns story, I mean, I do vaguely remember bothering him when I was a producer at the Score. But when I was there, they had me go cover some hockey during the Blackhawks Cup runs, especially in 13. But I think even before that, I was around. And, Jahns and I are similar ages, and I didn't know anybody on that beat, really. So I'm just like kind of a new guy walking in there, not really knowing anybody. So and Jahns kind of took me by his wing a little bit, helped me out a little bit. And that's kind of, for me, like the start of us sort of working together without ever actually working together. So now all these years later and going into season 11 of Hoge and Jahns, I know I'm excited. I know he is too, just about what we can do working together. And obviously having our whole team at CHGO, it's awesome. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes that, especially this morning, that have been, but really over the last couple weeks, that have been working their butts off to get all this launched today. So it's awesome to see. I'm excited about it. I hope the fans are too. And once I play these 90 holes of golf this weekend up
There
at
you
Devil's
go.
Head, I'll be ready to go next week.
That's right. Well,
Do you want to tell the chat the bad news? Because, I mean, most people were hoping that Jahns was coming over and that he would replace me. And, I don't know if you want to announce that or if I want to announce it, that that's not quite the plan.
No, we are not firing Carm yet.
yet.
Sorry to report that, but no, we need both shows. Both shows are going to coexist. I know I'm getting a lot of questions like, how's this all going to work? It's really going to work pretty much the same as it has. It's just we're all going to be on the same team together, so there's going to be a little bit more crossover. And I think especially on the written side, Jahns is already bugging me to do some things together, which we definitely will do. And I think you'll see that during training camp. So hopefully it makes everything just a little bit better and smoother. And yeah, it's going to be great, guys.
Yep, absolutely. So first press conference.
Take that, Edward
First,
Ulrich.
the introductory press conference of training camp with Ben Johnson. I need you guys to each get the first three questions, and let's really make our presence felt this year. I'm sure that would make everyone real happy.
They'd love it in there. Adam Hoge, Adam Jahns,
Yes.
Carm.
Front row, baby.
That's right. No, we're hey, there's enough Bears pie for everybody. I'm sure that's how everyone is looking at it, and I know, Jahns, do you want to shout out anybody in the past today as you jump it on here? Do we need to tell Kevin Fishbane how much we love him? I know he knows this, but I mean, I'm always willing to do that because I know that's your guy.
I know he's watching. Maybe he's in the chats already. I don't know. He's texting me as he always does. There's too many, but yeah, we'll mention the Fishman. I hope he's not going anywhere. We hope that he's still going to make his appearances on Hoge and Jahns. That's the plan right now. So. Wouldn't want that to change, but Kevin was the absolute best. Still close friends, dear friends. We text all the time. I don't think that's going to change, but Hoge will now start getting some of the text messages at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night when the activity is happening and the creativity for stories that I'm going to make him do with me.
If I was Kevin, I would make both of you become season ticket holders to Northwestern. Hoge would have to drop full association with Wisconsin and go back to his roots. That's what I would do, but that's up to Kev. So,
well, I think the bigger thing, Jahns, is now you are obligated to come to the tailgates because you've been teasing this for years now and everybody's been waiting. It's long awaited. So we're excited to see you there week 1 throwing bags. It's not like you got any work to do that day. So, come on through.
You might get me out at 1 or 2. Definitely 1. If I'm not there on week 1, I might have some issues, but especially it's prime time, right? Here we go. So, yeah. Everyone will see me at a couple tailgates this year. I promise you.
Greg will come to your house and
drag you to the tailgate.
Let's go. You're coming.
I'll be picking everyone up on the school bus Monday night.
It's happening. All right, both of you.
I'm just excited that I'll get less guilt trips for being late. Yeah. At least I'll be there. So my lateness
I'll be very late.
Really matter as much.
Yeah.
I've already set my arrival time for this year at it's 4 hours and 3 minutes before game time. So Sundays, that's a good 7:57 there for you, Greggy.
That's right.
7:57. I'll be walking in.
We're excited.
I love the tailgate, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year of coverage, but we're excited. And welcome aboard, Jahns, and obviously to have Hoge and Jahns under this umbrella is exciting for all of us. I know everybody here behind the camera is excited for it, and we appreciate you guys, and it's going to be fun working together.
Well, and also just one slightly serious thing on the way out here, and it's a huge day for CHGO and, from Brandon Spano at the top and all the way down at all City. But, dude, to both of you, you started a podcast when it wasn't that cool. It was starting to get cool, but it wasn't anywhere near, and you've risen to the point that they brought you both over on what is, the premier place to be. I'll say it like that. It's a huge accomplishment for both of you, so I'm giving you a congrats. I know you're going to be phenomenal teammates as you've always been wherever you are, and so it's for those. I guess everybody knows this, but it's a great day for us, but it's also a huge day for you guys. So full congratulations on the accomplishments. It's big time.
Well, thanks, fellas. Thanks, Carm. Thanks, Braggs. I got it right. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for everyone. There's too many people to thank at CHGO and All City and all those at the Athletic sometimes in my past. So just really pumped for this.
Softball Monday night. Good point, Bochanton. We got one person plays here, so it'd be great.
Need a center fielder. That's my spot.
There we go. You're in. That's wherever. Lead off, center field, whatever you need. We're open. All right. See you later, Hoge. Enjoy your day.
Hey. Thank you guys. Carm, thinking about you, buddy. Not lost on you that you showed up today. It's awesome. So, best to your family. And, just really excited. I'm back on the show next Wednesday. Can't wait. And then Hoge and Jahns' first new episode will be July 21st, so the day before camp. We're getting going here.
Let's get it.
All right. Enjoy your vacation. Don't think about this, Jahns. We'll see you in the written, and then we'll see you out on the in the visual July 21. Appreciate you guys. Congrats. And thanks.
See ya.
There they go.
How about it?
I mean, you know what happened.
What happened?
We were such a problem. They're like, listen, we like those guys, but we gotta, just to give them a little boost.
We gotta have some seriousness.
Yeah.
No, it's all about the balance, right? And that's what we have here. We got a lot of different voices and perspectives. And we'll talk about a little bit about that. I know we got to take a time out here and thank our sponsors. When we come back, we'll kind of lay out some more of what you guys can expect for all the coverage we're going to be doing all season long and all the different content you guys can look forward to and the opportunity you guys can have to take advantage of some good deals.
Yeah, and don't think we're not talking football, too. I know you want to hear O-line talk. It's coming up. Joey Christopoulos is going to pop in here in just a bit, too, which is going to be a fun conversation. So all that coming up, but first, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Give me a 3.
3.
Give me a 6.
6.
I got the 5. Here, right now, breaking news from Bet365. New customers, listen up. You get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you do is you sign up, you use the code CHGO365. Tell them Carm sent you. Deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, don't have to worry about that. 150's coming to you. Bonus bets can be used on spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. You do have to be 21 or older. If you are someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only. Bet365. It's the best.
That's right. And once you win some money off Bet365, you can head over to our friends at PXG. They have the best golf clubs in the business. Steven and I were just playing at Lost Marsh. You bust out your PXGs. You're going to have the best game of your life. And like I told you, the time has come to get these new golf clubs now. And that means one thing, heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. And it's the fastest way to improve your performance on the golf course is getting a PXG fitting. They do a great job. They take care of you. They make sure it fits exactly how your swing is catered to. So PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs and get the most out of your swing. And so schedule a fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% off your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/CHGO. That's pxg.com/CHGO to save up to 20% off your entire order. pxg.com/CHGO. Restrictions apply. See site for full details.
All right.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, Joey Christopoulos.
Gentlemen, pleasure.
So, and everybody's, I think, more than familiar with Joey at this point. But
well, my favorite is today's show is full of surprises, right? Like the first segment was Adam Jahns joining CHGO, and then we have a variance of surprise of Joey Christopoulos. Who is Joey Christopoulos? So we have two different surprises. We're going to keep the levels here.
But you've been podcasting for a long time, and
That's true.
And you and Corey and Woot, our guy, you were doing that for how many years have you and Woot been together?
I've been together with Woot since end of 2020. Yeah. So we've done 5 seasons together. I was telling Braggs before the show, I'm actually giving him the summer off. This is the first summer I haven't bothered him to do a Bears show with me. You know what I mean? For free in the summer. So that's been really cool. And I've been here for a year. I've been producing a lot of White Sox and Cubs, and this is the best job I've ever had. So, this has been great, man. And great announcement.
You've been on a lot of Cubs shows as well here, especially recently.
Yeah, and we did a little After Dark in the winter when things got really bleak.
Yeah.
Seahawks 6-0, I believe. we came on and just talked movies, I think, for 20 minutes. So.
Yeah, so for those of you that haven't been introduced to Joey yet, he's been doing great here at CHGO for the last year. So, we've had a lot of rotating in and out in the chair. Steven even sat in the chair here this week, Jake and everybody. So that's what it is at CHGO Sports. We all pull from the same rope.
Not to mention, Joey produces a bunch of our shows now. So we actually have 3 producers and Carm. No offense, we're not going to let you do any producing here.
Thank you. Yeah. That's a good choice.
Good for any of us.
Excellent choice. And for the record, Joey's like forever long you've been reaching out to people, and you've been kind enough to bring me on a bunch of times. You're like the most energetic, nicest dude ever. Like it's true. Like
thank you.
And when you talk about showing up at the tailgate on time, he shows up 2 hours before.
We're gonna get into it. Me, Braggs, 4 a.m. Show up as early as you want.
There was a couple times he showed up before me. You know how hard that is to accomplish.
I've never accomplished.
So that's impressive.
That was the goal. And Carm, man, you've been super generous for anybody out there. Carm is, I'm going to use a phrase of yours. You are a good dude. And me coming up in the business, you don't have to say yes, but you've always said yes to coming on the show when I'm trying to get reps and trying to get better. So That's what this business is all about, right? Honestly, is really trying to help pull people up. Like, we're going to disagree on sports opinions. That's like half the fun of this. But the other part about it too is, us all coming together and talking about what we love, like Chicago sports, man. And it's in my blood. So
yeah. So I'm just can wrap that up with. I'm just excited that I was excited when it started that you were being part of the team. So it's awesome to have you on here today. You were going to give some details on how this whole Adam Jahns, Adam Hoge and Jahns extravaganza, how this is going to play.
Well, obviously,
I'd love to hear about it.
Right. Well,
I know some of the details.
I'll tell you about
more.
it. Yes. Nobody tells you anything, right? So I'm going to tell you now, and everybody that's tuned in. Obviously, with the Hoge and Jahns announcement and Jahns coming on, they kind of talked about what they're going to be doing from a written content standpoint, and they're going to be doing their Hoge and Jahns show, 3 days a week, setting up the week, ending the week on Fridays. So you're going to get same show, new house with those guys all day long. But this is kind of where it lays out for us as a team here at CHGO Bears. You are getting wall-to-wall coverage. As soon as training camp starts, we are hitting the ground running. I mean, we're already started right now. We've already kicked off the season today as far as I'm concerned. And so you're going to get so many different perspectives. I know a lot of you guys have seen through the offseason the After Dark iteration with Lance Briggs and Jerry Azuma. For those of you who don't know, we are now changing that show as a title to the Brick by Brick Show. So that's really exciting. And we're going to be doing those shows on Thursdays. And you're going to also be seeing a post-game show. So every post-game show that you guys are used to, we were also doing a secondary post-game show last year. So that's going to be called the Brick by Brick After Party after we do our first post-game show. So you get a lot of content on game day, from tailgates, watch the game, come to our, tune into our post-game show. We got a second post-game show. Get the Brick by Brick show. And then, of course, CHGO Bears throughout the week. And we're still keeping After Dark as it is, Monday nights. I've already got down Adam Rank here for the last year. And then last night I was on with my guys Phil and Shane at Tape Never Lies Network. They're going to be joining me throughout the season, starting here in a couple weeks. We're going to be talking ball. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, all these different perspectives from Corey Wooten, Lance Briggs, Jerry Azuma, Mark, Adam, Jahns. It's like this is what it's all about. Whatever beak you want to wet in terms of Bears coverage, we are going to have it for you.
That was a lot of news in there. Number one, tremendous negotiation by you getting the Brick by Brick in there. Did they come to you with that, or did you come up with that yourself?
Actually, Eric out there, our creative guy, he pushed it forward. It was one of those things that was great. It was humbling and gracious to. That's awesome. But Lance was all about it. Obviously, maybe we'll make a little adjustment to the Brick by Brick shirt. And,
Boogie by Boogie?
Yeah, Boogie by Boogie, L Boogie by L Boogie. So it's exciting. We got a lot of different things that we're going to be doing for you guys, and we're going to keep rolling these things out all season long. Carm's going to be on with Briggs on Mondays after the games. So we're going to be doing a lot of different perspectives and conversations that you guys can have throughout the year. And then, of course, all the written content that just took a huge step up with Adam Jahns joining.
Shout out to Michael Rowland, who became a diehard today. One thing what I like about Rowland? He rolls in right at the right time, baby. Look at Rowland. Look at the look he gives you. Look at the avatar. Roland's a diehard.
Rolling down the river.
He rolled right in, man. Right on time, brother.
Well,
congrats.
And as I said,
Thank you.
As I said to start the show when we had Jahns on, right now you can become a diehard for $36 a month. That's the Adam Jahns deal, the Hoge and Jahns deal right now. You get a Hoge and Jahns shirt with your purchase, limited edition, $36 for 1 year. You get the T-shirt, or you have the option of the $59 for 1 year, and that gets you a limited edition Hoge and Jahns hat from Branded Bills. So a couple different diehard options. Sign up at allchgo.com/diehard right now.
Also, I have it at the top of our description. I'll pin it in the chat as well if you're looking to become a diehard during the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Branded Bills hats are awesome, by the way.
Yeah, that thing looks sweet.
Yes.
All right. Let's we have something that's very exciting.
We're gonna do the rip pack tomorrow.
Oh, we're gonna do that tomorrow?
we roll that. We're gonna roll that over.
All right.
Well, if we're doing because we've been pushing a lot of different things here today.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And so what we're gonna do then is take one more little 2 minutes, and then we're talking O-line to the 10. O-line to the 10.
That's right.
The Bears getting some major props on what's to come. I'm a little confused, but we'll We'll see if we all get to top 5 O-line in the NFL right here in Chicago. I'm a little.
What world is this?
That's a big time move. But we'll discuss it in 2 minutes. But first, looking to buy, sell, trade, or just rip open a pack of cards? We got the place for you. Arena Club is changing the hobby with their transparent slab packs, no fee auctions. This place is sweet. We welcome them aboard. We've been talking to them for about a couple weeks now. Arena Club is the most trusted name in the game. Full transparency, the best value for your money. Slab packs, transparent checklists, and Arena Club's Slab Safe program. So this is what you do. You're heading to the 45th National Sports Collectors Convention. Stop by their Arena Club booth. That's happening July 30th to August 3rd. But what you want to do right now, you're going to get 20% off your first slab pack by slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO. Use the code CHGO. Rip one open. It feels amazing.
That's right. And I've been excited the last couple of weeks ripping open with slab packs. It's really cool. We had a Ryan Sandberg. Ryan Sandberg.
That's right.
Last week. I wanted to tell you guys about a really special trip coming up here when the season starts for the Chicago Bears. That's right. We are heading to Las Vegas week 4 with True Fan Travel. We went to London last year, went to Arizona last year. Let's not talk about what happened in Arizona with the game, but the London trip was amazing, and as well with the Arizona trip. And so you need to join us when you come to Las Vegas. We're taking over the Strip for an epic weekend. Bears play the Raiders on September 28th. We're getting in there Friday. 3-night stay at a premium Vegas resort. Get tickets to the game. That's certainly important. You should know, if you're a Bears fan, just how hard it is to get a ticket to this game in Las Vegas. It's a hot one. I know a lot of Bears fans are going to be traveling out there to the desert. VIP parties, post-game shows, live show events. We're going to be doing it all. Unforgettable events with the CHGO crew and fellow fans and much more. So don't gamble on missing the ultimate fan experience. Book your spot now at truefantravel.com and search CHGO Bears when you find out. That's truefantravel.com. Cannot wait to be there. Hope you join us. It's going to be an amazing time watching the Bears move to 4-0, of course.
I mean, London was cool, Arizona was great, but Vegas is going to be the best. That's
If we thought there was a 70% chance that you'd never see me again when we went to London, just get lost out there. Yeah. It's an equal percentage.
Minus 300 right now are the odds.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because Jenny went with me to London, so that was a big reason why I didn't get lost into the London abyss to never be seen again. But that's why we might need to make her come to Vegas, just to make sure I don't drown in a pool.
You're like Rodman in '98 you're gonna tell Jake and Kevin and everybody else that, hey, I just need some time.
Jordan's got to come pick me up. Yeah. Is that Jahns? Jahns has got to fly out to get me back from Vegas to do my job.
The problem for you on that one is that we'll just leave you there.
Exactly.
You'll have to get on back there. But if the Bears are 4-0 at that point and or 0-4. One of those two scenarios, I'm not sure. Yeah, you might not.
Either
return.
way, I'm gonna jump on some kind of craps table.
Yeah. Probably need a nice 2-2 roll on in, which will be fine. Hey, Taking the Temp is a new branded segment. It's talking about players, teams, pre-games, post-games. It is your trusted local experts are at 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. We love Taking the Temp here. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. We appreciate their support. And so we're taking the Temp once again today on the Bears O-line. Pro Football Focus, 4th in the NFL. Maybe they know. Did they know something that I don't know, Joey? What's your thoughts on this? Go ahead.
Okay, so it's July right now.
It is July.
If this is taking the Temp, this is like touching a radiator in December. This is unhealthy for me. This isn't right. This is like eating way too much McDonald's in the middle of July, because 4th in the NFL for the offensive line. At week 15 last year, I believe PFF had them at 22nd in the NFL. They finished the year with a win block rate percentage 17th in the NFL. So you're saying that they are making, I mean, I get it. We're going to talk. We know all about the pieces that they've added, right? But this is a huge leap. This is a huge jump. And if you look at some of the teams that are around them, too, as well, There's Tampa Bay's ranked pretty high up there. All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield's resurgent career. Denver Broncos. How is Sean Payton doing this with Bo Nix? Taking the Temp right now, I'm coming in pretty hot right now. If they finish 4th in the NFL as an offensive line, I think we're talking about playoffs and we're talking about a playoff win. I don't think I'm going to go as high as 4th. If they finish top 10 or top 12, that's market improvement that I can live with. But 4th, that's insane.
Right.
It's crazy.
And you mentioned Tampa Bay. I know Tristan Wirfs just recently had knee surgery, so he's going to be out to start the year. So, it's weird to say. It's almost like you don't want to say it because we're like, it's not something we're used to. Not since the Lovie Smith Bears, to have a trusted offensive line. But honestly, I feel like PFF Carm is like this toxic lover. Like they, one minute they're telling us
she's blowing up her phone.
4th O-line, best O-line in the league, and then last week they're telling us, the floor for Caleb Williams is that he could be a bust. Like, PFF, just leave us alone. Walk out the door and don't come back, because everything you do is just firing our emotions one way or another. You just got us on this pendulum. Just leave us alone, because I can't handle it. 1 week, you're hyping us up. Last week, you're triggering us. I know what you're doing, PFF, and we've had enough, so I can't do it.
No, I like the trigger. It's good. We need content. Thank you, PFF. We love you, especially at this time of year, all year long. But look, they're taking ratings of each position and putting that together in one big soup, and then that's where you get to number 4. What it's not taking into account, and what it's just not what they do, is how will these guys all mesh together? And most likely, I would think that will go well. You've got the Hall of Famer down the road in Joe Thuney. You've got as solid of a pickup in Drew Dahlman in the middle that should be a great leader there. Work ethic off the charts is all you hear. Jonah Jackson, I would think, would be coming in with Ben with huge motivation, plus the talent, coming off a down year last year. Darnell Wright's healthy.
Yep.
2 years under his belt. But to me, who are they putting at left tackle and assuming that they're going to play well? Because I don't think you can really rank the Bears' offensive line until you know how that situation kicks out. It feels, because if that is a huge gaping hole, that's your left tackle. It's a big deal.
Well, it's incredibly fair. In the article, it says that Braxton Jones was graded above average.
Yeah,
we don't know if he's going to be ready.
Right, they graded him highly last year, but you're not adding into the account the injury he's now coming off of. You're 100%. Just basing his performance, what he did last year, but now when you're projecting forward, how's he going to be coming off that injury?
Right, and my other takeaways, too, is, so I like the fact that if you look at that top 6, top 7, outside of the Indianapolis Colts, all those teams are playoff caliber teams. Number 1 on this list, still the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. What I also took away from this list, make of it what you will, was how Detroit fell. Detroit in 2023, or their previous ranking from last year, were number 2 on PFF's list. They're now down to 14. Green Bay is at about 13. So it is interesting to see, and Carm, to your point, how everything meshes together is really going to be the key. This seems to be an on-paper ranking, which is great news for the Bears because, as you mentioned, Drew Dahlman is a marginal improvement from the center play that we've had the last few years. So it's just really interesting to see, once they get on the field, can they take that talent on paper and put it together into production?
So when you talk about how, they're basing it off grades from last year's performance, when you project forward in terms of how this offensive line is going to significantly improve this Bears offense, well, number 1, you mentioned Drew Dahlman, a guy that's going to be able to have the checks at the line of scrimmage, take things off of Caleb's plate where he doesn't have to think it much and diagnose what he's seeing in front of him. Now he has somebody that he can trust in front of him. Hey, you remember Coleman Shelton last year turning around to Caleb Williams.
Fire!
We've got effing fire, man. Yeah. Well, you expect with Drew Dahlman, with the price tag they brought him in on, that he's going to be able to handle even more than Coleman Shelton last year. And then I look to those guard positions. Darnell Wright and whoever's playing left tackle didn't have the luxury of having people inside of them, next to them, that they could depend on a weekly basis. So I do think that while we don't know who the left tackle is, and is somebody going to actually win that job, or is somebody going to get that job by default? Well, the one thing I do know at left tackle is the guy playing next to him is Joe Thuney. And Joe Thuney is going to be able to help immensely on that side. He played left tackle last year, so if it is Ozzy Trapilo, he's going to be able to be a good mentor in a few different facets. And then on the right side, Darnell Wright started last year with Nate Davis as his guy next to him. You can't depend on that. So now you have Jonah Jackson, a guy that's been under Ben Johnson's system before. And the way it's a trickle-down effect where these guys, yes, the chemistry's got to come together, but I do think there is an element now where they can all depend on each other on a level that this offensive line's never been able to.
I'll throw it. I think all that's fair. Another slight variable to the whole process for me now is you have to remember, back in the day, back in Carm's day, they would run 2-a-days in training camp, and they were hitting the living a lot. This is a television-oriented show. They were kicking the crap out of each other.
Right.
All right. So these guys got to play together, is my point. And the chemistry could build. Now you got a limited amount of practices, and you just don't do a ton of hitting in camp. And I know that you're going to have practices with the Dolphins and whatnot, but it still, to me, would most likely, the amount of hitting you do now in training camp, this will be an offensive line that will still be coming together as the season goes along.
I was just having this conversation last night with Phil and Shane from Tape Never Lies. We were talking about the idea that when Ben Johnson comes over from Dan Campbell's system, and when you watch Hard Knocks a few years ago, and he's basically apologizing to his players at camp and saying, guys, I know I'm going hard on you. I know this is not easy. I know this isn't what you're used to, but I promise you it's going to be for the betterment of this team. And you understand how physical the Lions have played the last few years. Now, they're dynamic. They score 70 touchdowns, but they kick the crap out of you, right, at the line of scrimmage. And so I am still, like you're saying, it's not going to be a physical camp because that's just not how they do things anymore. I'm still holding out. I want to see how this goes. Maybe Ben Johnson is going to turn up the dial more than what we've seen here in the last few years, and I'm rooting for that.
It could be, but it's also league mandated that they can only.
It's never going to be like it was
right
in the early.
Only so many padded practices that they could have.
I think a key to all this is when you talk about that with Ben Johnson. What I love about what they did this offseason, when we talk about Joe Thuney, and not to get on the other side of the ball, when we talk about Grady Jarrett, they do have players now that can carry the water for that messaging. Yeah. So even if you can't have that true physicality on a day-to-day basis, at least those guys can provide a version of messaging that provides that kind of work ethic that's going to need to get done to create that continuity, to create that meshing, and create hopefully an attitude for this team that's different from what we've seen the last couple of years. I mean, it's all been talk and none of it has been action. So now maybe Ben Johnson's messaging can come through with some of those players.
Well, and to that point, because I see him being mentioned in the comments here, because he always should be mentioned. That's my guy Tyson Bajan. When I'm asking whose work ethic do you respect on this team for the guy that doesn't stop working ever, and he named Drew Dahlman, which so that guy's been here for 5 seconds, and already his work ethic is jumping off to the page to somebody who's like pays attention to that type of stuff, like who's a dog in here. I mean, I'm sure they're all doing it, but I think that was high praise.
Well, and I think it was last year where Pat the designer asked Tevin Jenkins, who's the leader on this offensive line? And he said, I think he said,
I asked that question.
Carm asked that question. Just intercepted, Pat.
Damn it.
But, I think his answer was Ryan Bates is what he said. Yeah. Ryan Bates. And so, the guy never played for the Bears, right? Like he's still on the Bears, but he's just never. How is he your leader of your offensive line? Tevin honestly should have just said me. That's what he should have said. But that illustrates where this team was at. Now this year, you got Drew Dahlman, you got Joe Thuney. I just think you have an opportunity to have some real leadership there, and that's going to be important.
Well, right, Ryan and Gary said that Ryan Bates was the leader. He was. He never played. That was how they were led.
Well, also, if you don't have a leader, maybe you just say the buddy that stands next to you during training camp. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ryan Bates and Tevin Jenkins were staying next to each other. Can I just really quick though?
I was going to say maybe that's why Nate Davis never played. He's like, well, the leader, the leader's not playing.
The leader's not out there. I just want to say really quick, this conversation right here and this ranking by PFF is a victory lap for our CHGO top 10 Chicago athlete power rankings for the month of June right now. I put Joe Thuney at 6. He cracked the top 10, and I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, well, why is Joe Thuney? What is it? Because I think what's illustrated with this ranking right now and what we're talking about, how important an all-pro, professional, future Hall of Famer is going to be, hopefully not just for the offensive line, but Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. When we talk about the power or the leverage of a guy that we need to show up and produce, I think this ranking also illustrates why we have Joe Thuney in that top 10.
Yeah, and look, if you look around Chicago, how many guys that are playing on any team here right now are going to end up in the Hall of Fame? Not many.
Adrian Hauser, if you follow the MLB trade markets right now.
Right, Pete Crow Armstrong's a lock. Modest is going to get there.
Modest is going to get there.
Connor Bedard, right? Then that's a no-brainer. White Sox-wise, outside of Hauser, do they have anybody else?
White Sox, I mean, Miguel Vargas.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Who's winning the trade there?
What about Colson Montgomery? Can't he be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, why not?
You're asking the wrong guy, but that did make me think that I should check the Cubs score.
They're up 1-0.
Nope, they're up 3-0. Thank you very much. Spoiler alert for those of you. That's too late. I should have said spoiler alert first, but that's great news because I've been really stressed out the last couple days. We're spoiled now. There's 16 games over, and I'm on DEFCON 5 because they lost 2
When you
games
don't have
in a row.
offensive electricity for 48 hours, things get a little.
It's hard.
Things get a little
But
antsy.
I hope to have this same stress with the Bears, right? Like we're now finally at a point where every Cubs game matters, and when they lose, it feels like a knife in the side. And Bears football season's a little different. You only get 17 games, so every loss kind of feels like that in a certain way. But the losses mean so much more when you're actually fighting for a playoff spot. And the Bears really haven't been doing that here the last few years, and really for the last 5-6 years since 2018. So I mean, that's kind of the full circle of everything, we talked about earlier in the show and all the coverage we're bringing in. We're excited for all you guys as the fans to join us along this ride. But, an opportunity for this team to actually be good would be a cherry on top to everything we're about to do and everything you guys are going to be joined in on us with on this journey.
You didn't tell everybody, though, that the Brick by Brick show will be canceled if they lose opening night to Minnesota.
Yeah.
You won't be. You're Braggs, I'm not even kidding. Braggs won't be able to go on for about 4 days if they lose opening night. Is that fair?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, it's a must win. It's a must win.
It's a must win.
It's a must win, or I lose my shit.
You're not really
professional.
You're
professional show here.
You're kind of kidding.
Oh, we're past the hour mark.
No. We're not quite there yet. Hey, before I want to talk about something that's personal to me and tender and all that, but your favorite Bear move this offseason, Joey? What? Let me put you on the spot right there. The most excited you were in any moment of this, it's been obviously an active offseason.
I mean, we've hit it several times, but Joe Thuney getting traded to the Bears, that raised my eyebrows for sure. I didn't really see that coming in. For me, that was a super serious move for an organization and a general manager that I've openly criticized. That we talk all about, and especially in Chicago too, all we want is explosive offense and the 4,000 yards and the 30. We've been talking about it for years and years and years, and it gets unsexy at times when you get back into the trenches and getting some beef up front and on the defensive line. So them trading for Joe Thuney was great. I really enjoyed Drew Dahlman. I think the Drew Dahlman thing was coming from a mile away, so it's always nice to see a team go out there and execute that plan and bring it in. But you're bringing me in, baby.
Yeah.
I want to talk Kyle Monangai for just half a second.
Let's go. You're
yeah. Half a second. I know we've done a lot of
The floor is yours.
We've done a lot on this show. I get the opportunity to host the Big Ten show here for the All City Network, and I will just say, you do all your prep, you do all your tape. Monangai immediately jumped off the tape. The first month of the season, right, it's all non-con games, right? So people are getting blown out left and right. The games really aren't that interesting, but what was interesting was how amazing Kyle Monangai was. And a lot of people, we've been throwing a lot of stats around. Let me just tell you a couple things that you don't realize. First of all, in some of those non-con games, some of those 170-yard games, those were by halftime. Second half, he was sitting because they were up. In the second half of the year, defense fell apart a little bit for Rutgers. They weren't really playing him in the second half of games. So I actually think he could have had a bigger year last year if the team was maybe a little bit more competitive in some of these moments. Look, low center of gravity, runs really hard. I'm not trying to say he is a bell cow. It is going to take a village from the backfield for the Chicago Bears this year, but I do think he can have, and look, 5 to 8 impactful carries a game for a rookie, I think is saying something early on in the season, and maybe we'll see as things progress a little bit. But I think he's a kid that does all the right things. I think he's a kid that plays outside of his size or bigger than his own size. So for a 7th-round draft pick, I think it was a great pick for the Chicago Bears. I can't actually believe that I'm like stumping for a 7th-round pick, but this class was so deep this year on the running back side. So I really like that pickup, even though we were banging the table for a running back every single pick, every single time. They finally got one, but I do think it was a good choice.
Well, I think the hype on Monangai is relative. You know, everyone keeps saying he's being overhyped, but I think the point of what you're trying to say is that there's more to it than a typical 7th-round pick, and that's not to say he's going to like break out on the scene. I do think he's going to surprise some people, though, and so that's kind of the point. I am very encouraged. You say 6 to 8 carries. I don't know really where to put that cap because he does, to me, really just kind of identify as the Ben Johnson type. He's not as big as David Montgomery, but when you look at what David Montgomery does for the Lions and did for the Bears and running relentlessly, that's what Kyle Monangai embodies. And so I think there's a very good chance. Roschon hasn't really taken his opportunity and ran with it, and I think Kyle Monangai could come in and really impress some guys and surprise. That's not saying he's going to be some top running back, so I just think the hype is kind of being misconstrued.
I like the way you kind of set a vision for him. If that actually happens, that he could have 5 to 8, I'd even say 3 to 5 impactful carries a game. And, like, for me, visualizing that was 3rd and 2, you're comfortable giving it to him that with the offensive line set up that, hey, Caleb doesn't have to throw it every time in those short yards, that we feel comfortable that this low gravity, hard trucking between the tackles if he has to be, can bounce it just a little bit. He's not a speed guy. He had 3 runs over 40 yards in his college career, but he put up a ton of yards. So if he can get you those tough yards when you have to have it move the chains, that would be enormous for the offense if that happens.
Yeah, dude protects the football.
Right, never fumbles.
He plows into people. Yeah, plows into people and keeps his legs churning. Yeah. He's just a good running back, and honestly, he was a dude that jumped off a tape immediately when I was doing my prep last year for the team. It showed up in games, and I think there was at times where they probably could have gone to him more, but due to game score and due to game situation, it just didn't happen. So to your point, yeah, if you're saying to yourself, you have a contributor from a 7th-round draft pick, that is a win for Ryan Poles. That is a good thing for the Chicago Bears. I'm not saying he's the end-all, be-all, but, yeah, I think he's going to help.
Listen, I'm a Monangai. Are you a Monangai?
I'm a Monangai.
Big Monangai over here.
Steven, you a Monangai?
I'm a Monangai.
You're a Monangai. Eric, another shirt idea right there. I'm a Monangai.
Yeah.
Monangai.
Yep. He's not busy. Get on it.
He's probably working on the Carmba mentality shirt, which is
the Carmba mentality.
That's somewhere on the list. I'm gonna get that in there. All right. So super tough week for me. I'm gonna try to get through this. I just want to shout out my dad who passed away yesterday. 99 and a half years old. So one of my great Bears fan friends, he called me up yesterday, and after I texted him, he's like, dude, I'm giving a standing O. I'm standing up for your dad. And I wouldn't be here because we got some pictures. This is Freddie played for Western Illinois right there. Look at 26 right there on the pile. That guy's dominating. First game in college.
I'm just glad it wasn't that other guy on the left.
Yeah, first game. There he is in high school, quarterback for Marshall. And then he left. He went to Western Illinois because he was 17 years old. He wanted to enlist in the Army because everybody wanted to go fight in World War II. And so my dad at 18 enlisted, and he was over there for a year plus on cleanup duty, and there you go, buddy. 27 zip, 2 passes, return for touchdowns, 35 and 37 yards, and he his favorite. We had a lot of football talk in the house, and every kid in my age was Walter Payton's the greatest. My dad was a Jim Brown guy. It may be less popular at school. Because I had to, hey, man, what about Jim Brown? Dude averaged 5 yards a carry. Guy was unbelievable. And this last picture is in front of Marshall High School. on my birthday a couple of years ago. And so we can wrap it there and just say, love you, Dad. And I'll go one more. My mom got sick when I was young, and he wanted to give me something to sort of soften the blow. So we got both season tickets. Back then it was like $18 a ticket. And, you know, that Jordan, for you too, Greg, and it was like a savior to my childhood. And he gave that to me and a million other things. So love you, Dad, and thank you for giving me this moment. And I'll be back next week. Greg's got it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just a lot of love for all the support that I've gotten. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, we love you. And I know you've been going through it the last week. And obviously you should be proud. He lived a long, good life. I think we'd all be lucky to make it that far. And
no doubt.
You know, I that's definitely one of my regrets is not being able to meet him and really try to get deeper into understanding what makes Mark Carman tick. But every story you ever told, it sounded like we would have got along splendidly. So I just
he would have joined you and looking at me. Yeah, 100%.
So you got a lot to be proud of, and I know he's proud looking at you, and so we love you, and you know, obviously everybody is giving you condolences your way, but you know, keep your head up for sure, my man.
I will do, and yeah, I appreciate it. He would love your brick by brick, man. Maybe I'll tell some more stories at some point once in a while, but thanks again, and have a great rest of your day. Give your loved ones a hug, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.